this friendship and this ability to work with each other and not demonize everybody on the other side, right. I feel like it's slipping away day by day. And here it's embodied beautifully in a scene. You saw the attempted assassination scene, and now here's the scene, which actually happened, of Tip O'Neill, the Speaker of the House, Democrat, going to visit Ronald Reagan in the hospital after he'd been shot. Let's watch.
Boy, he'll do anything to get that damn tax cut.
I left specific orders, no Democrats within 100 yards.
You'll have to grin and bear it. How you doing, pal?
Well, I don't recommend getting shot.
No.
You know, Tip, I think there was a reason for all this. There's a big job left to be done, and whatever time I have left, it belongs to him.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
What was it like going into that? Did you feel a responsibility?
Oh, very much so. And I have to tell you, I've been doing this for 50 years. Dennis made it so easy, because if you don't work together on a scene like that, it falls flat. And we're on the opposite ends of the boat. We're really like Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we found the common ground, and Dennis said, go for it. And we went for it. And it's a good scene.
It was like 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, but Tip, he was the first visitor to Reagan's other than Nancy,
Wow.
after the assassination. And they got together almost on a weekly basis.
Oh, yeah.
Over at the White House. And I mean, you don't see that anymore.
Mm-mm.
It's only when they have to.
It reminds me, in another life, I practiced law. And this is how it is for a lot of lawyers. You do bare-knuckled brawls all day long in the courthouse and in depositions and so on. But then a lot of times you're traveling to do depositions or whatever, and then you do go out for beer with each other at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
You can check it.
Yeah.
And some of our presidents who've really gotten a lot done, it was because of the way they could work with the other party. I always think of LBJ and Everett Dirksen.
Mm-hmm.
They would go at each other all day long, and then at night go over, break open the bourbon bottle. And, I wouldn't call a dog what you called me today. And Everett, I took an oath to tell the truth, LB.
It was a lively debate.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago. You know, when I first started working at Fox, Bob Beckel was there. He was a Democrat campaign guy for years, and he was grizzled, but he was one of those guys who would meet in the underground bars and have the scotch when he was still drinking with his Republican colleagues, and they talk sense about the race, like the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Your guy's going down, I know. And they'd be real honest with each other.
That circle of silence that the lawyers also have. And the thing, the truth is Republicans and Democrats, we need each other. They do.
Oh, yeah.
Because they keep each other from going this way or too far that way. I mean, George Washington didn't want us to have political parties.
Yeah.
He thought, but I mean, you got to have a pro and a con of a side, in order to debate that. And so it's a time when it worked.
Yeah, and there is a lot more common ground than we are made to believe.
Right.
We have a lot more things in common. And the politicians who are willing to work together are the ones who usually find that common ground. They exploit it, and then we benefit from it. But if you don't get together, you can't accomplish anything.
I mean, they do pass a lot of things in Congress that we just don't hear about it on the news.
Yeah.
Because it's not news.
That's
and
true.
why don't they advertise anymore?
I mean,
they don't want their constituents to know.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like I said, compromise is a dirty word.
I'd say we agree on 70%. So that makes you a 70% friend, not a 30% enemy, which is
right. That was
what it is.
one of Reagan's things. So let me ask you this, Dan. There are a lot of conservatives in the movie. You know, Dennis is an independent who's voted on the right side of the aisle as well as left. But there's Kevin Sorbo, there's Kevin Dillon, there's John Voight. So is there any...
John Voight, very right.
John Voight, very right. Big Trump fan.
Can I tell you, and I'm very left.
Yeah, so is there any risk to you in doing it? Like, do you have to explain to your friends why you would act with these guys? I know how Hollywood is.
No, not at all.
It's cool.
I'd like to share with your audience a very nice thing about John Voight. I am on the National Veterans Foundation board. And whenever we've called John as veterans to come and present an award or do a fundraiser or even receive an award, I presented John with the first Charles Durning acting award. Charles was like my father and the youngest man to land on Normandy.
He was great.
And he thought John Voight's a hell of an actor. Forget politics. So John's always been there for the vets. So for me, I disagree with John politically about everything, but working together with him, it's like working with this guy. He's the best.
Oh,
you know,
he embodied Reagan. I mean, it must have been like being around Reagan.
Oh yeah, it was.
So
it made it easier for me.
So you mentioned the military. You're a former Marine.
Yes.
Went to Vietnam. And I know you're very careful about characterizing exactly what you did in Vietnam in the right way.
Yeah, I always make it clear that we had orders to go to Vietnam, and they stopped us at Okinawa. And I'm a vet because we floated off the coast. We had to keep going. And then at the very end, I went in with a South Vietnamese unit to teach them to call in airstrikes. But as soon as we got hit, they got us out of there. I'm speculating, but I think they didn't want the public to think they were redeploying Marines again.
Well, God bless you for your honesty on that. But you ultimately got put on a commission that investigated back to the presidential assassinations. Sadly, the JFK one worked.
Yeah.
And I had never heard this before, Dan. Tell us about the recreation and what this expert marksman
Colonel
concluded.
McMillan.
Yes.
He was the one who trained our Olympic team where they run through the snow and then shoot. So we had to recreate, it was at Quantico, Virginia. And if you look at the Senate investigation on assassinations on that, when they were at the firing range, the officer day, it says Lieutenant Dan Lauria. So that's
you were there.
I actually held the weapon that Oswald used.
Oh, the very one.
Yeah.
And 1978, is that what we're talking about?
That was when it came out, but we were investigated in 73.
This is not Warren Commission.
Oh, 73,
no.
Not 10 years after.
Oh, yeah. This had nothing to do with the Warren Commission. But, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. The bullet that went through Kennedy's throat easily could have been that terrible weapon that Oswald used, could have been shot from that window. The bullet that took off the part of Kennedy's brain has to be a different weapon for one reason. The velocities are different.
Wow. That's what this expert marksman said.
Yeah, and I remember asking Colonel McMillan, who do you think did it? And boy, I got a look I'll never forget. That's not our job, Lieutenant. As long as people talk about who did it, they're going to ignore the physical evidence.
That it was more than one person.
That it has to be two weapons.
Yeah.
That's all we were.
Have you read Unspeakable?
Yes.
Robert, RFK recommended it. It takes all of the evidence that is there, including the stuff that's been released, and puts it into cohesive, in the Times, but it's a 360. And
right. And Bellucci's
he thinks it was the
theory.
Intelligence community. I mean, he's told me
Yeah.
that himself.
There's three frames.
CIA.
Yeah.
There's 3 frames missing in the Zabruta tape. And I think Bellucci might have had a good theory. He thinks the security agent in the front seat, he pulls out his weapon, then there's 3 frames missing. He thinks he accidentally fired, and that's what killed him.
Oh, my.
Is that when he went through the sign? Are you talking about?
No, there's 3 frames actually cut out of the Zabruta tape. But it is part while it goes through the sign.
Right.
Everybody thinks
I mean, if that's if it's just gross incompetence, that actually, I mean, that's kind of where we are on the Trump investigation, because the Secret Service had so many fall downs on the job that a lot of people are saying they were in on it or somebody was in on it. And my instincts as a reporter covering Washington for 20 years is always vote for incompetence. You'll be right more than you'll be wrong.
You'll be
But
right.
it is a wound that is still there. Since 1963, I remember. I remember that day. Everybody remembers that day. Sure. And there's a wound that is still there that is never because you feel that things were withheld and the truth is out there. And we need to know in order to heal even.
You know how much my family and I love our dogs, right? Yes, even sweet little Strudwick. He's not that little, but he is sweet. I can't imagine life without them. They've got a great life, but some dogs are not so lucky, and they need our help. This is why I'm so glad to tell you about Delta Rescue. It is the largest no-kill, care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. They've rescued thousands of dogs, plus cats and horses too. They provide all of the animals with shelter, safety, and most of all, love. And they've been doing it for more than 45 years now. Delta Rescue relies solely on contributions to stay open, and giving can bring tax benefits to you too. Speak with your estate planner about how you can grow your estate while helping animals in need, and check out the estate planning tab on their website to learn more. We love Thunder and Strudwick, and Delta Rescue helps the pups who need it most and also need love and safety and a home. Visit deltarescue.org today to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.